Linda walks over arrogantly after seeing Jack cleaning a car and says, "Hey, car washer, leave that car and go clean my new car in the back." Jack looks confused and replies, "You misunderstood. I'm not a car washer." Linda cuts him off and says, "Oh, please, I'll even give you 5 extra UN." Then she turns to Tina and says, "Look at this. Even car washers wear suits these days." She then says to Jack, "Let me tell you something. I'm here today for a blind date. I don't want to show up in a dirty car, so hurry up and clean it." Hearing this, Jack politely responds, "Oh, so you're here for a blind date? I understand. Making a good impression is really important in situations like this." Pointing toward the car in front of him, he asks, "That one?" Linda nods and says, "Yes, the blue one. Make it shine like it's brand new." After looking at the condition of the car, Jack says, "That might be a little difficult, but I'll do my best." After saying that, he walks away. Meanwhile, Linda takes out her phone, dials a number, and says, "Hello, Aunt Wang. The guy you introduced to me still hasn't shown up. I've been waiting for over half an hour." Aunt Wang replies, "He already arrived. He's wearing a brown suit." Linda immediately calls out to Jack from behind, "Hey, come over here." Jack walks toward her and says, "Ma'am, your car is really dirty. It won't be easy to clean." As he approaches her, Linda suddenly asks in shock, "Wait, are you the guy Aunt Wang introduced to me?" Jack smiles and says, "Oh, so you're the overseas graduate Aunt Wang mentioned." He reaches out his hand and says hello, but Linda arrogantly pushes his hand away and says, "Aunt Wang is unbelievable. I studied abroad and came back and she introduces me to a guy who washes cars?" Then she laughs mockingly and says, "And he even showed up wearing a suit." He's not embarrassed at all. Jack hesitates for a moment and asks, "Is your name Linda?" Linda angrily replies, "Yes, my name is Linda. Why are you pointing at me like that?" Jack smiles and says, "Did you forget? We were classmates back in school in classes 2 and 3. Linda looks at him carefully and says in surprise, "Oh, you're Jack?" Then she sarcastically says to Tina, "Tina, let me tell you something. He used to be the most handsome guy in our entire school. He was also the top student in class. I even wrote him a love letter once, but he rejected me." She laughs loudly and continues, "And now look at him. He's cleaning cars. Life really comes full circle." Jack lowers his head awkwardly and says, "Looks like you're doing pretty well these days." Linda proudly replies, "Of course. I studied overseas and recently Star Group hired me as their chief creative director." At that moment, Tina softly says, "Maybe you two could just become friends and get to know each other first." But Linda immediately mocks Jack again and says, "What are you talking about? Why would I ever be friends with a cleaner?" Tina politely responds, "I think you're being unfair. Jack seems like a really good person." Hearing that, Linda becomes furious and yells, "How dare you say I'm wrong and he's right?" She raises her hand as if to slap Tina, but Jack quickly grabs her wrist. Suddenly, a secretary rushes over and says, "Boss?" Jack calmly says to him, "Go ahead to the office. I'll be there shortly." The moment Linda hears this, her attitude completely changes. She grabs Jack's hand and says with a fake smile, "Oh, my old classmate, how have you been? I was only joking earlier." Jack angrily pulls his hand away and says, "Stay away from me. Now I see who you really are. It's disappointing that even with all your education, you still treat people this way." Then he turns to Tina and asks, "Will you marry me?" Tina smiles, reaches out her hand and says, "Yes, of course." But as soon as Jack holds Tina's hand, Linda angrily pulls them apart and says, "What are you two doing? Aren't you ashamed?" She continues angrily, "I'm warning you. If you two get together, I won't let either of you off easily." Jack firmly replies, "Fine. Do whatever you want, you greedy woman." Then Jack holds Tina's hand, looks toward the viewers and says, "Did I make the right decision? Let me know your thoughts in the comments."